I am shonen phobic, and I hate shonen with a passion. I would never touch it with a 3-mile stick. Unless it's Attack on Titan, or Chainsaw Man, or Blood Blockade Battlefront. Aside from those, I do not watch shonen. But a couple of weeks ago, Jujutsu Kaisen 0 came out in Australia, so I decided to check it out. You know, it can't be that bad. It's a pretty hyped up show. I had a friend who doesn't even watch anime, watch the movie and came back and said he just cried after it, so it's gotta be good, right? And I'm sure everyone now knows where I'm going with this. They can read my language, my dialogue, my feelings, my passion. I didn't like the movie. It was mediocre. And I'm sure everyone is foaming at the mouth right now because everyone seems to like Jujutsu Kaisen 0. But I think it's generally a weak movie. Like, it kinda doesn't do things well at all. And just a heads up, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen it, then get out unless you don't really care. Okay, so my biggest issue with the movie is the characters. I think they're really bland. There's nothing special about them. They could be developed later on in the TV series, but in the movie standalone, they are very bad and boring. I think you can also infer that I haven't seen the TV series because I didn't know if the characters were later fleshed out or not. So this is coming from someone who hasn't seen Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know where any of this goes. I'm just judging the movie on its own. So let's talk about the worst character, Toge Inumaki. His whole gimmick is that he speaks in only onigiri ingredients, which is stupid. And they try to justify it in the movie. Like, what? Now, I wouldn't really care too much if there was some supernatural stuff going on that forces him to only speak in onigiri ingredients, which is kind of silly, but at least it's not stupid. But he is voluntarily speaking in onigiri ingredients. So he has some crazy abilities when he speaks. For example, if he says crush, he might crush something that's in his way, and that is of course dangerous for his friends. So in order to communicate with his friends without hurting them, he speaks in onigiri ingredients, which makes absolutely no sense. Why doesn't he just have a notepad that he can write in? Why doesn't he use like gestures or something? I don't get it. And this is a major plot point, by the way, because the main character can't understand Toge. And he has to learn that Toge actually cares for him in the middle of a battle. And then after the battle, Panda freaking approaches the main character and he's like, you may not understand him, but Toge actually cares for you. Like, shut up! But the main character's known Toge for 3 months, and now you bring it up? It's not even the onigiri thing that upsets me, because that makes sense. In the heat of battle, he doesn't want to use his powers accidentally on one of his friends, so having onigiri ingredients as commands, it makes sense. There's like a secret code that your teammates can learn. But the main character is never taught these codes, and he uses them outside of battle, where again he could just communicate more effectively writing in a notebook or something. Or even better, using a smartphone. This is why I've come to the conclusion that Toge Inumaki is just a husbando quirky character that teenage girls can just get obsessed over. There's no meaning, there's no depth to him, there's no logical reason for him to be this way. They just wanted a cute, quirky character for some reason. Now let's move on to Maki. Maki's a terribly written character. I don't think I have an issue with her as a person, but the way they presented her was really bad, because for the entire time she's just this cold-hearted person towards the main character, and then by the end of the movie she needs to get hurt so the main character can feel angry at the villain for hurting her. So she just blurts out her life story at him right before she gets hurt. The main character doesn't gain her trust, there's no build up to it, there's nothing that makes it feel earned. She just dumps a bunch of exposition. Then of course there's Gojo. I'm assuming he's developed more in the TV show. There's also Geto. He's the main villain of the movie. I thought he died at the end, but I guess he didn't. But he's a sorcerer, and he hates all non-sorcerers, regular human beings. He calls them monkeys, and that's his motivation. He just wants to kill all monkeys. That's it. What a boring character. But I've read that he doesn't actually die, and he comes back in season 2, I think, which fleshes him out more. But again, as a standalone movie, not interesting. Then you have Panda, who again is nothing interesting. I'm not too upset at Panda though, because he's not a very significant character in the movie, so he's allowed to be boring. But let's talk about the main character, who's probably the most interesting. I really like his story actually. He actually cursed his dead friend to kind of become this demon because he watched her get run over by a car, I guess at a really young age, and he couldn't control his powers, so he cursed her, and she ended up kind of sticking around with him. But because of that, her sticking around him as a demon, makes it look like he was the one cursed, so everyone thinks he's cursed. I think that's a really interesting concept. I love it. But the problem is they say that at the beginning of the movie. So in the first half of the movie, the main character literally, his name is Yuta. He goes, I don't think I'm the cursed one. I think I might have cursed that girl that day. And then at the end of the movie, Gojo comes in and is like, hey, I got some news. You're not cursed. It's the girl who's cursed. And it's like some weird plot twist. I'm like, what? We literally established this at the beginning of the movie. I mean, I guess it wasn't confirmed, but the fact that he said it out loud in that really anime way just means it's true. So really, because of that one line at the beginning, they ruined the entire story. It would have been so much better if I just didn't go through the movie knowing that. I also like how this demon has kind of made Yuta really isolated, suicidal, because his demon keeps killing people. So he doesn't really want to live, and then he meets up with these people at Jujutsu Kaisen High, or whatever it's called, and he makes friends with them, and it gives him the will to live, but his relationship with them was like really underdeveloped. I just didn't believe that he was out of his depression phase. And by the end of the movie, he's really skilled at fighting and he's learned a lot of sorcery stuff, but they don't properly establish that. They don't even properly establish how much time has gone by. There are title cards, but they do disappear too fast for me to properly read everything, so that's also an issue. But overall, I felt like a lot of this was just showing Yuta's progression, but not showing the journey towards the progression. We saw the results, but we didn't see the work that had to go through to get there. I think the best thing I liked about Yuta though was when at the end he was willing to give up his life and the life of the girl to save his friends, and that's when he kind of accepts the girl's death because he's willing to sacrifice her and himself, which means he accepts her death when she got run over, and that also led her to being uncursed. I thought that was very nice. I liked what they were trying to do with Yuta, I just think they failed in execution. And I think generally this movie just has no structure. Like, Yuta joins the school and he gets just flung into an operation without any training, and at some point he gets eaten and his partner tells him to exorcise the demon that ate him, and he puts on this ring that the girl gave him when they were kids, and she was like, when we grow up, let's get married and all that, your standard anime stuff. And he puts that ring on and it summons the girl to stop the demon that ate him. Now the thing is, this girl is already, like, she summons herself when he's in danger, so why does he need to put on that ring to summon her? I understand the ring is there because it's a symbol of acceptance, so she comes out, so it works if he needs to summon her when he's not in danger, but he's already been eaten. Then after that is when Yuta learns about Toge, and I already told you how terrible that was. Then halfway through the movie we get introduced to Geto, and he just decides to drop by and declare war, and he's just a villain now. He's there's no structure, he's just the villain now, just because. Oh man, this is why I'm shonen phobic. I watch one popular shonen and it's so mid, but everyone loves it. Maybe this was the wrong shonen. Maybe every other shonen is good, but Jujutsu Kaisen is the only overhyped and overrated one. Maybe I need to watch Demon Slayer, maybe I need to watch One Piece, maybe Dragon Ball Z, and the original Dragon Ball. Probably should watch the original Dragon Ball before Z. I take that back, it's 150 episodes. I can't watch Shonen, man. Shonen's too long. It's too long. You gotta jump on when it's first released, otherwise you can't do it, man. I can't. But getting back on topic, there are two things to consider. Firstly, I saw the movie a few weeks ago, so it's not fresh in my head. I don't have a copy of the movie, so I can rigorously analyze it. It's just what I saw a few weeks ago, that's what I'm going off of. And secondly, I'm not saying you can't enjoy the movie. The movie does have its merits, and at the end of the day, you're allowed to enjoy them. I, for one, have media that I'm very obsessed with, but I don't even think they're close to perfect. For example, Lupin the Third the First. That movie is pretty mediocre in terms of its writing, but it's the perfect translation from 2D Lupin to a 3D Lupin. And just that one aspect made it like one of my favorite anime movies ever. There's also Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I think the writing for that is abysmal, but it's one of my favorite movies simply because it's just Sonic the Hedgehog, and I love Sonic the Hedgehog. How could I not like a big Hollywood adaptation of my hero that literally everyone is enjoying? So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, there's a difference between enjoying something and thinking it's high quality. I don't mind if people like Spider-Man No Way Home. There's a lot to like about it. But once they start saying it's a masterpiece, that's where we have issues. Anyways, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Bye-bye!